I'm Sandra McGough from Norfolk County Council in England. I'm delighted to be in Dublin to share the work my colleague Caroline Aldridge and I did as What Works Well leads. We used ourselves as encouragers to create practice learning opportunities and created a tool so others can replicate this. Our roles were funded by the Suffolk and Norfolk Social Work Teaching Partnership. Our primary aim was to embed a learning culture in innovative ways by focusing on what works locally, nationally, and internationally. We were tasked to look above the parapet to generate new ideas and to bring them to fruition. The growing demand on services and funding constraints impact on working conditions. It can prove challenging for social workers to prioritise time to critically reflect and engage in learning. Local authorities, however, are required to explore innovative ways of learning from best practice. If social workers are to be motivated and able to practice effectively, there needs to be a shift from a focus on their deficits to building a culture of encouragement, a culture that celebrates and inspires excellence. We need to notice what works. Munro and others have highlighted that we fail to learn the lessons from repeated inquiries into serious mistakes. Could there be another way? A critical best practice perspective asserts that learning arises from focusing on examples of good practice and results in positive outcomes for service users. As humans, we are more receptive to positive behavioural reinforcers than negative ones. We drew on theory and research from social work and other disciplines to explore models of practice learning. Two important themes to facilitate learning emerged: encouragement and relationships. Grant and Kinman found that identifying sparkling moments encourages repetition of success and builds resilience. Noticing what works encourages social workers and helps build relationships. This is consistent with the strengths-based approach that we wanted to model. If leaders show a passion for frontline practice, they can ignite practitioners' thirst for learning and light little fires which can spread. So we facilitated reflective sessions with children's services teams. Social workers shared their proudest practice moments, and we used appreciative inquiry to dig deeper. These sessions created opportunities for the teams to consider new ideas, messages from research, and ways of improving their practice. Participants were observed to enter the sessions quiet and subdued, but left energised, motivated, and encouraged. They left wanting more. We asked the social workers for feedback. They valued the sessions because they brought managers and workers together in a relationship-based way. The sessions created time to reflect and dwell on positives and connected them to their core values. It's important to have a facilitator to keep the session emotionally contained and focused. Emphasising achievements can feel novel or even uncomfortable to practitioners, but it has the potential to boost morale. One team manager said, "It was like a breath of fresh air to be able to set time aside to concentrate on all the great work we do with our children and their families." Feedback from practitioners suggests that our approach facilitated transformational learning by creating reflective space for interpreting experiences. The focus on what worked enabled practitioners to feel emotionally safe to explore ideas. We observed spontaneous application of the learning. It's easy for success stories to remain invisible. This resonates with a quote in the 2017 Signs of Safety briefing. Competency is quiet. It tends to be overlooked in the noise and clatter of problems. We tried to find a framework that focused on learning from success. The nearest model we found was a road safety model. So using this model and building on others, we created the What Works Practice Learning Circle, which we trialled and refined. Our observations are that the richest learning arises from using this in reflective groups. Our circle uses strengths-based questions to prompt deeper learning and reflection by identifying what has worked in a situation. Practitioners are directed to make links to their own and others' perspectives, relevant theory and research, and actions to take the learning forward. Our observations are that practitioners engaged in professionally curious discussions when using the circle. They told us that they rarely identify underpinning theories on a day-to-day basis, and they would like more opportunities to unpick a case with peers. Maybe, to open people's minds to learning and improving practice, we could be clearer about what it is we do want them to do. A practitioner told us, when we talk about what went wrong, we still don't know the solution. Using the circle with peers provided ideas for others to try. We paid attention to social workers' successes rather than emphasising their deficits and errors. We reached out to them. It has been a privilege to hear their stories. We are proud of our profession and want to honour the good practice that can be seen every day, if only we pause and take notice. By adopting the role of encouragers and focusing on what works well, we created learning opportunities and supported relationship-based reflective practice. Caroline and I welcome discussions from anyone interested in using the What Works Practice Learning Circle. I'm sad that Caroline was not well enough to be with me today to share this experience, but thank you to everyone who has inspired and encouraged us. If you're interested in finding out more about our work, follow us on Twitter, or better still, visit us in Norfolk.